did 33 episodes, and now we're back to where we were.
We're back alone.
Carteret COnnects. I'm Mike McHugh. That's Richard Clark, and this is the 34th installment of our podcast. We hope you're enjoying it. We're enjoying you watching us.
We need to get a free food thing going.
We are happy that you're enjoying yourself watching us. We think
Yes.
you are. We know our mothers are watching, and some other listeners as well.
I can't get my girlfriend to watch though.
She's working.
Yeah, well, allegedly.
Well, she can watch it after. That's the beauty of podcasts. You don't have to watch it live.
That's exactly right.
Most of our traffic comes
Watch
after,
it whenever you want.
Yeah, you can watch it live or you can watch it dead. After the, what is the opposite of live? Taped.
Dead. Yeah.
Pre-recorded.
Pre-recorded is what they say now.
So
Yeah.
you can go into our library, and what a library we've built so far.
We do have some in there.
We do. We have 33.
Yeah.
We talk about absolutely nothing.
And we have some other ones on there as well. Dr. Bogus is on there.
Yep.
The senior center's on there, and
Carteret Landing.
Yeah, and there's another one I
Coastal
can't
Gardener?
remember. That's it.
Coastal Gardener, Dr. Tom.
So if you want to learn how to plant stuff,
well, it's easy to plant. It's the challenge is keeping it alive,
right?
And keeping the weeds out of there.
Right.
So, Coastal Gardener. People love the garden, and you know.
I can't keep a plant alive for nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
You've never grown anything in your life?
No, not really.
No.
Not on purpose. Let me say that. Not on purpose.
Not on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll
But yeah, I like plants, and you know when you're in college like that, and you
grow
get
lights.
Yeah.
Hydroponic. You know where we're going with this.
And then, but I
Tomatoes.
couldn't keep them alive. Yes, couldn't keep them alive. I just
So
I don't know.
Point,
I don't have the green thumb.
You just let them shrivel up. You get the album out and
let them dry up.
Get rid of the seeds. And remember that the old album covers.
Yes.
I heard that's what people did.
Yeah,
with that.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember. I'm old enough to remember the Cheech and Chong album that came with a great big one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I don't know if they still are out there. Maybe some listeners or some viewers do this, but I worked at a corner grocery store and we sold Laredo. You ever heard of your dad worked at Philip Morris, so I don't know if they made them Laredo, but it was
no. I think it was American tobacco that
company.
made them.
So it was a box of tobacco, and then they came with it papers.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have rolling paper, and people rolled their own cigarettes.
Well, if you remember,
I guess they had a little contraption.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be. I guess was it supposed to be cheaper? I didn't smoke, but I sold them.
No,
and I don't think they came with filters.
As a smoker, a lot of the bad stuff comes from the filter because
Yeah.
it's essentially fiberglass.
Yeah.
And if you remember, maybe the late '90s, early 2000s, there was a trend where the hip would roll their own cigarettes out of clove and that kind of crap.
Yeah.
So I
It
guess
seems like
that's
a lot of work. Unless it's more economical, because what's a pack of cigarettes now in North Carolina? $5?
Yeah, $6.
So, and what is it up in the city in New York?
Oh, in New York,
like
it's about 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had this conversation, Richard and I, just talking. We're just talking like, so theoretically or realistically, you could buy a pack of cigarettes in North Carolina for $5.
They went up there and
drive them up to New York and sell them for $15.
If you doubled your money and sell them all cheap and get out
And
of
that
it.
would be illegal
because
of the state tax. However, I don't think you'd be considered trafficking in tobacco or trafficking in a product untaxed if you had less than 300 cartons. I think that's how it is. It's a carton number. It might be 200. I think it's 300.
I don't know how that works.
So if you had 300 cartons, 10 packs per, that's 3,000 cigarette packs, and you're selling them for a $10 profit. 3,000. That's a $30,000 gross
for one trip. Oof, one trip.
Which way to I-95?
Yeah, you got to go buy.
Well, actually, you can't. Well, if you do that, you buy your cigarettes like at JR Tobacco at 70 and 20 at 70 and 95.
Yeah.
But once you get to New York, you got to quarantine yourself for 14 days. Well, the cigarettes won't go bad.
They won't go bad.
Do they go bad? Do you ever open up a pack and say, "Boy, these just came off the machine. These taste fresh"?
No, because they seal them. They seal them. Now, if you open the seal, you break the seal, the cellophane on it, and leave it sit there a while, you can taste the difference.
But I wonder, because your father worked at Philip Morris, and he brought home cigarettes.
Yes.
And he didn't smoke.
No.
I wonder if, and you were probably a child then, but I wonder if right off the machine, if it tastes any different than out of the.
I will say this: my dad, he smelled like tobacco all the time,
which isn't a bad smell.
No, the real tobacco, the ones on the farm, not
a
cigarette smoke, the real tobacco.
But even like I don't smoke, I never have. I mean, like any other kid, I tried it, but I opened up a pack, and it's a pleasant smell.
Yeah, it's they add a lot to it, through the process, and it's a lot more intense than you think.
It's actually, and they do, and I don't know what they do as far as cigars do. Fine cigars, whether that's
cigars are a little bit different. They dry it differently, and
but they don't add all
obviously
the
it's different
stuff.
tobacco. No, they do not.
There's a great tobacco store. I can say this. It's Washington, it's not Pennsylvania, in Georgetown Tobacco. Mm-hmm. And you walk in there, and it's just there's a blue haze over the room. This is present day, and they have a sign there. It says, "Thank you for smoking."
Yeah,
but they have the tobacco leaves hanging on the wall. It's a fine.
I'm not sure that's not a private club type deal at that place. I know where you're talking about.
Yeah, my brother goes there
because
quite
they
often.
get around that smoking inside law.
They have
somehow.
like two big humidors. One when you walk in, and one in the back. But
and you better bring your wallet.
Oh yeah. You aren't buying blunts.
No,
they don't sell Phillies. No, it's fine tobacco, but I mean it is fine tobacco, and you just smell that, and you put that cigar, and there was a time in my life where I enjoyed a cigar, and I enjoyed it so much because of where it came from. You know, you think about it's a Honduran, you think of Honduras, or this came from the Dominican.
Well, I will say
the wrappers, you can grow tobacco anywhere. The wrappers would come from Connecticut, perhaps, but they married them up.
You can taste the difference.
Oh yeah,
cigar to me, cigar is always like champagne. Mm-hmm. You can taste the difference of money and not money right from the get go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. A good cigar, not too bad.
No.
A crappy cigar, you got a headache coming and the whole 9 yards. You might even throw up. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah. No. So I don't know. I think it's more of a special. I don't do it anymore. And really, what got me not on it, but what got me off of it was we'd go to work and you'd fill out forms for HR, and it's like, have you ever used a tobacco product in the last 12 months? Like, come on, man, really? I mean, I had a cigar at a wedding, 6 months ago.
Like I said,
no.
That's what. They
didn't ask me, hey, have you walked 12 miles in the last 2 weeks?
Well,
yes, I have done that. They don't ask you the good stuff. It's
that's why we tax cigarettes the way we do, because there's such a low percentage of people that do it now that it's easy to tax something that you don't do.
Oh yeah, it's a sin. Well,
right.
It's a sin tax.
Right.
They're going to do it anyway.
So yeah.
Well, why do you think New York a pack of cigarettes is $15?
God,
you think about back when we were growing up, and again, I don't smoke, but I was around people that did. Hey, can I bum a cigarette?
Well, let's be clear.
You bum a cigarette. Well, hell, now if it's what does that come out? It's $1.50 a cigarette.
Well, let's be clear on this.
Am I right about that?
Think about what we did to the economy in North Carolina. Particularly Eastern North Carolina.
When you got rid of tobacco?
Yeah. First off, you got rid of the 2 largest plants, employee number-wise, in this state.
Textiles and tobacco.
Well, R.J. Reynolds' site in Winston-Salem and the Carteret plant of Philip Morris in Charlotte.
Are you talking about just strictly tobacco?
Yeah, just strictly people.
Yeah.
They were the 2 largest. As a matter of fact, at one point, the Carteret plant in Charlotte was the biggest plant in the country per number of employees. Yeah. Well, you killed it. Okay, whatever. Health, whatever you want to say. That's a different argument. But what'd you replace it with?
Crickets. Nothing.
And the same out here. That's one of the reasons Eastern North Carolina is as depressed as it is, because it was farming community. And, it's just like, it's essentially the same idea base as the Colombian cartel stuff. Mm-hmm. You replace this high dollar thing with bananas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and it's not to say that tobacco isn't grown in Eastern North Carolina.
It still is.
But it's under a very limited, and it's under a strict government pike program. They tell you how many acres are you allowed to grow.
And my father hadn't worked there in years, but he had gone back to do some consulting, and so we were talking about it, and I asked him what the percentage was of American tobacco now in it, and their stuff goes over. Most of their stuff they're getting from Turkey and places like that.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean,
what Philip Morris is.
Yeah,
and isn't that weird? Because I've heard a lot of the tobacco that's grown here in North Carolina gets shipped overseas.
Did you ever see back when you ever seen a Russian cigarette, Soviet Union?
Yeah.
They're backwards. The short end, like here, short end's the filter. Mm-hmm. The longer end's is tobacco. It's flipped.
At
least it used to be.
I traveled to the Soviet Union in the 70s. And remember smelling it in the hotels in the dining room. I was a teenager, and it was pungent.
But their actual tobacco part was like this, and the filter was longer, as opposed to ours, where you got more tobacco. Yeah.
I didn't notice that so much. I know the smell, And then going to college, we had a lot of international students from the Middle East.
Yes.
And man, one of the prerequisites they had
was smoke.
Oh my God, they smoked like chimneys. Yeah. And it was that, I don't know where they got, well, they may have had them shipped over. They could have found them somewhere in D.C., but they smoked the strongest, most pungent tobacco. And I forget, one of the tobaccos or cigarettes, is it Pall Mall or Camel? It was Turkish blend tobacco. Yeah. It said it on the package. I remember selling those. Was it Camel?
It's Camel.
Camel.
I think it was
Are they
Camel.
still out there?
Yeah, oh yeah.
They're the non-filter.
No, well they make non-filter. Yeah, Camel makes a non-filter.
I thought that was their most popular one.
It may be, but
my
Camel Light I think is their biggest one.
My grandfather, Papa Wolf, he smoked Lucky's and Pall Mall.
Lucky's no filter.
Right. And I think he got them. I think he got on he was a merchant marine before World War II. But you know, the GIs got in their packages. They got, I think it was Lucky Strikes.
Yeah.
So that was American tobacco. Yeah. Yeah, they had some great iconic ads and lighters and all that.
The one now that's completely American is the one with the Native American on it. I can't remember the name of it now off the top of my head. But they're completely natural. They don't have
I know what you're talking about. I can see it. I can't.
I can see the package myself, but they're like that. So
it's a shame it's so bad.
Is it?
Yeah. It is, isn't it?
Is it?
Oh, come on. Well, you're still here.
I mean, I look at it like this. I get really annoyed for the people that smoke cigarettes that then sue later on.
I think it's bad.
I think it's bad.
I mean, it's just,
and that's what I was getting to.
It's just as bad as drinking.
That's what I'm getting to. Yeah. I get irritated with the people that get sick and then sue.
Right.
Anybody that smoked a cigarette knows just on that first cigarette, this can't be good for you.
Yes.
It just can't be. Yeah. But it's my choice that I'm doing this.
I mean, I suppose probably eating a bag of Doritos every night, although they're good, is probably not the best thing in the world to do. So hello,
when look, we all know when we're doing something that's either not healthy or not good for us or whatever.
It's usually the first thing you see in your pantry.
Right.
Not to switch subject, but I love those in-store baked tortilla chips at Food Lion.
Food Lion, but their salties get out. Now they make an unsalted one.
Yeah, and I mistakenly picked that up, and I'm at home. I was like, "Ugh, where's the salt?"
Yeah.
So you get the salt, and you start shaking it, and then I went and got the. I bought the store brand mild. It looks like paste, but it's the same. To me, it's paste. I just scribble out Food Lion. I write paste, and that was a big one. It was a big jar, and I put it in the recycling bin last night, and I shopped on Saturday, so I knocked out the whole thing of the Food Lion salsa and the bag. That is that bag. It's you just go like on a rhythm. Chip.
Well, it's
dip,
like
chip dip, chip dip. Look at it.
It's like that we even offer a tub of cheese balls. Yeah. This big.
Yeah. And
really?
Yeah, I know.
Really?
And they're good. It's like.
But do we really need?
Yeah, you do. It's like caramel corn. You just don't have. I'll just have one and then
look,
screw the lid.
I'm not saying they're not great because I do love them.
Yeah.
But how big of a piece of crap do you feel like holding that great big barrel of cheese balls?
Well, it's like when you go to Food Lion. Okay, the stuff is normal size packaging, and then if you have the opportunity to go to Sam's Club, it's gargantuan. Like, do you really need all? Look at the size of the Dorito bags.
I mean, do I need a trash can the size of peanut butter?
Yeah, it's like, remember the TV show? This was in the '60s, Land of the Giants.
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
That was a cool show.
Yeah,
and that's what it's like going to Sam's Club. It's like, holy, look at this stuff.
I think that's probably one of the biggest differences. Again, my girlfriend is Asian from Okinawa, and the vegetables and the quantity in a package are bigger, much bigger.
Where?
Here.
Where? In the United States?
Yeah. Their vegetables are not roided up like ours. They're not juiced up with steroids.
Oh, I see.
So, all their vegetables, like you buy I'm trying to think of an example, but like a broccoli or something, or it's smaller over there than it is here. Ours are so shot up with stuff that they're all big. Look at our tomatoes. I mean, a tomato's not supposed to be like this. A squash is not supposed to be.
When I grew tomatoes, they weren't that big.
That's what I mean.
Worms
and you look at the difference. You remember? Well, you don't remember. Lady used to bring them to our office. She grew her own, quite a few of them, and they were deep red and about that big around.
Yeah.
about that big around, and they were fantastic. You go to Food Line, they're like the size of a softball.
Yeah.
But they taste like paper, you know.
I like the little Roman tomatoes, the little ones.
Yeah.
That's what we get.
Yeah.
That's what we get for our salads and cucumbers, so very simple.
But yeah, that's one of the differences in America is our food is woof.
Well, we're supersized. Didn't Michael Moore tell us that?
Yeah.
We're super.
Well, it's some of it is sustainability. We had to do something. Sort of like the wheat guy, that made the wheat that, don't
look
fall
at the
over.
Whopper,
everything we made.
Whatever it's called, an unimaginable thing, whatever it is, it's massive. Even to this day, they make a big Whopper.
We eat a lot of manufactured stuff that
sure we do.
Is not really food now.
Yeah.
And out of necessity, because I if you couldn't eat that anymore, what would our food supply look like?
I don't know. We've been tested with this with the Wuhan virus. I mean, think of the grocery store. Aisles 2 through 9 pretty much are prepackaged, right?
Yeah,
it's just the ends where you have the fresh, the fresh produce when you first walk into the store,
and
then the fresh meats in the back,
and that's
about it. And then you can get a little creative with those. I like that plastic bag of Purdue cuts. That's all prepackaged.
Yeah,
I got a couple of those, and that's easy to whip up.
The seafood around here is probably, real, but.
If you get it at a Clyde Phillips and
or you catch it yourself,
or you catch it yourself. You go out with Dr. Bogus and catch it. But like I said the other day, I went to the Food Line and thought, okay, I need to get some fish. It's like, come on, it's easy to get the pork chop, easy to get the chicken.
So you get the ones in the box with the fish sticks.
I do that. Well, I do that for myself. I get the gratins, the 6 battered fillets. Not bad. But there was some fresh fish prepackaged, and it was tilapia.
Yeah.
But it had the Georgia logo on it and all that. Well, it was packaged in Georgia. It was grown in Indonesia. I was like, put that back. Yeah. And I got some flounder that was United States.
Yeah, at least it said it was.
It said it was. Yeah. I mean, what do you do? You don't
really know.
You don't know unless the only way you know about fresh fish is, like you said, if you catch it,
or you're
at Clyde Phillips Seafood in Swansboro,
or some guy,
whatever other seafood, or some guy on the side of the road.
Right.
You see
it's got ice on it.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like cars. The reality of it is, Hyundai or the other one,
Honda.
Kia. One of them's actually builds it here, whereas Ford are really built in Mexico.
Yeah, they still haven't moved it all up here.
Right.
Yeah.
So, which one's American, which one's not?
It's kind of like my tilapia.
Right.
It's packaged in Georgia and it's grown in Indonesia.
Honestly, the way I kind of look at it is, if it has the more American jobs, then it's probably the more American car.
Yeah, well, I think it has to do with the components within.
Well,
60% of the stuff was manufactured.
Well, I know that's how they say it is, but I disagree.
Yeah.
If you got more people, like for instance with Ford, the reason Ford moved their stuff to Mexico was the labor cost,
sure,
so they wouldn't have to pay because American cars start at a $6,000 disadvantage because of pensions, blah 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 blah. So that's why they
look at the BMW that's driving around. That's probably made in South Carolina.
Absolutely. And say what you want,
and
but
Toyota.
That's been a boom to those people.
Toyota's made in Kentucky.
Nah, I thought it was Tennessee, but you may be
one of those. I remember Darrell Waltrip saying something about that.
I mean,
and look who's on the NASCAR circuit. Toyota.
It's funny.
My father, Toyota, Chevy, and Ford are the three. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, but it didn't used to be.
No.
When Toyota got into this, I told my dad. I said, "Watch out." He said, whatever, because, he's American-made car. We always had American-made cars. And I said, watch out. I said, I follow Formula One and that sort of thing, not religiously, but what I do know is when Honda and Toyota and them decide to get into something like that, they figure it out.
They're all in.
Yeah, they figure it out.
Yeah.
And look at what's going on now.
Yeah, look who they got when they had drivers. I mean, they still have drivers, but Tony Stewart drove Toyota.
Yeah,
right?
a little bit, yeah. When he drove, Joe Gibbs was the big get for them.
Yeah.
They were able to funnel their money into a successful team.
Well,
but you remember correctly, when Toyota came out, they were not successful for about 2 years. Mm-hmm. They were behind the curve. And like when Chrysler came back, Dodge came back, they were never successful again.
No.
Couldn't figure it out. So it's not as easy as you think. Right now, Chevrolet's going through that.
Yeah.
Their efforts are pretty poor. Ford has seen a resurgence. They were really bad in NASCAR.
I wonder what it is. I mean, those cars out there are anything but the Ford Mustang you see in the showroom versus.
It's ultimately the engine program and
the support from the manufacturer.
Absolutely. Yeah. The testing and
even the engines. I mean, you could have who was building engines in the Charlotte area for so many of the teams.
Hendrick was building a lot.
Yeah. So you got Hendrick and Chevrolet, but it could have been in any of the cars.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Well, they're different. They are different. The motors are different. It has something to do with the interior.
How the hell do they build a race car in the time they build it? Can you imagine that?
Well,
I mean, I know they're engineers and all that, but think about that.
A lot of it is they fabricate their own stuff.
They do, but okay, even that.
Yeah.
You're fabricating the sheet metal.
Right.
But think about that.
Not just the sheet metal.
Everything, the pipes,
Yeah.
the rope,
Yeah,
the cage,
everything.
But that's not my point. Okay, you say, okay, and I can tell you, that car's going to have a steering wheel and 4 wheels on it, right? And they build it, and it runs at nearly 200 miles an hour on a racetrack.
Yeah.
I can barely put gas in my car. I was proud of myself last night. I popped the hood, and I have a little wire brush, and I cleaned the little poles off of my battery cable. You know, because I think I'm doing something.
Please tell me you know how to jump start a car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that.
Because we worked for a guy, and I use that term loosely, that could not jump start a car. Now let me be clear on this.
My first car was a Fiat, so
Let's be clear. If we as men, as the male of the species, have gotten to the point where we cannot jump start a car, we really need to reevaluate.
I can jack up a car and take the wheels off.
My father could. He worked on tanks in the war.
The pain in the ass is the spare, kind of bringing it down because mine's in the rear.
Yeah,
and bring it down. Hey, by the way, today the sport track turned 240,000.
Wow!
Think about that.
That's a lot of miles. That's a lot of miles.
I need 2 more thousand miles to beat my '87 Mercury Cougar, which is the record in my stable. I had for 242,000 miles in that car.
Wow!
Second tranny on it. Everything's new. I mean, not new, but everything's original on it except for the alternator.
When I was younger, all our cars were like that. My father never
still running good. I mean, I do 50 miles a day coming over here around.
He worked on. We never took the car to the shop ever.
Well,
he did all that.
He knows what to do.
Yeah.
Speaking of milestones, 240 on your
Ford.
Truck. Happy about that.
Yeah.
There's a great story you all should look at. I think Richard's going to put it up on Carolina Coast Online. Google the term 20-year-old golden retriever.
Oh yeah.
And a family, I think in Tennessee, they celebrated their girl's 20th.
Yeah, I did not realize
20th birthday. Well, it's not common. I mean,
yeah, I didn't realize that they had such a short lifespan. Golden retrievers, 10 to 12 is fairly short.
I know. And when I had my Sheila, I got her in She was born in 1982, August 28th. If anybody's keeping August 20th, I'm sorry. She died in 1999. She was 17 and a quarter. She died on Thanksgiving night. She had her for 17 years, and she looks like this beautiful little girl, August. She had the white mask.
Yeah. And
she started getting white around 7 or 8 years of age, and just started with a few hairs on her snout, and eventually she had the whole white mask. Very distinguished. But
that's how my days.
When my Sheila was 12, like people were saying, "How old's your dog?" 12. Well, you've had her for a long time. She became 13, 14, 15. I'm like, heck, next year Sheila gets to drive. Hey. 16, she got her driver's license, and she didn't be 17.
Daisy, who just passed away, was 17.
Wow. And, well, that's great. Yeah, we both had 17-year-old dogs.
She was 17, and really the 17 is questionable because she was at least a year old when I got her. Wow. So that's even a little bit of question, maybe a little bit more than that. We just had to do what we had to do.
You guys have dogs?
It was brutal.
If you've had dogs, even cats, we'll throw cats in here too. I love cats. You have tons of cats. What's the oldest dog you've had? We had Sheila, and Sheila made it into the marriage. And she was 7 when I got married. Kathy, my wife, brought in Naomi, the black cat, and I think Naomi, she lived to be 17. So
we just celebrated.
Must be good pet owners. Something.
My girlfriend just celebrated her cat Cleo. It was 22 on Monday.
That's great. I was asking Dr. Todd Worrell from Pet Docs this morning about that, and he saw the same story on the retriever.
Yeah, I was listening,
and was happily surprised at that. But I said, "What about cats?" He said, "They can live much longer." And I said about Gwen's cat is 22.
Inside cats tend to live a lot longer.
That's great.
They just do.
And then horses. My wife has a horse, and Jason, he's 18 now, I think.
My inside cat, Kitty Paws, died. She was 15. So,
yeah.
But she went to the vet once.
That's great.
I mean, she was not really my cat. You know, a girlfriend had left her, and you know, now I had a cat. And so I didn't even like cats.
The girlfriend did the daily double, dumped the cat.
She had dumped the cat,
both of you?
And she was gone.
Good.
Yeah, and so I got stuck with kitty paws. And, you know, here we are. I didn't know how to raise a cat, so I kind of just left her alone. And, you know, 15 years later.
How many do you have now? I know you have Cheddar.
I have 3 now.
Good. Yeah.
Now 4 counting Cleo, her cat.
Are they all together?
No. We have to keep the old ones
separate. But they're under the same roof?
Yes.
Okay.
And my 3 stay together. Yeah, they're family.
As much as cats like to be by themselves, they'd like to, you know, when they're together, when they're friendly with one another.
They're a little close right now. We've made some moving arrangements, and they're having to stay in a smaller area than they're used to, and they don't like it.
I think what's amazing is how we as a human species have just bastardized the dogs. We've made dogs the size of this coffee cup and up to the size of this table, but cats have remained cats.
Pretty much, with the ones that got no fur, which it's kind of
that's
crazy.
but Mr. Bigglesworth. But you know, we'll put both our cats out on the sun deck, and they both look. They're both similar in size and color, and they came from the same horse farm, albeit several years apart. I think they're
related somewhat.
Sure, yeah. And they were dumped.
Yeah,
and they found the stall, they found the barn. And eventually, my wife Kathy drew the first cat in. Sunny, came from Sunnyfield, and he came home one day. And then several years later, Kelly started hanging around.
Yeah.
And you know how it is. They get closer and closer and closer. Finally, get into the crate. They made it home.
Yeah.
And then now they're together, but they are separate cats in our house. They have their own rooms and they do their own thing outside. But when they're outside, sometimes they kind of like stand guard and just look out over the grass and the marsh.
Mine are. Much like that. They don't want to be next to each other all the time.
Yeah.
They prefer different parts of the house, which is their problem now. They're kind of stuck together. You know, my own place.
Was Cheddar ever outside?
Only
when you got him.
Only when he was out. Yeah.
Our guys go outside, and you know, they'll catch an occasional lizard, which I try to discourage that because I want them to eat the bugs. But I remember one time Sonny was sitting on the sun deck, and we have some bushes down towards our porch, and he's just sitting there minding his own business. And a little Carolina wren flew right into his mouth. He was sitting there, and he caught it like you'd catch a catcher would catch a baseball, like that. And he's standing there surprised. And this bird, he didn't kill it. The bird's hanging out of his mouth. I'm like, Sonny, drop the bird. And he didn't know what to do because he didn't catch. I mean, he didn't go hunt it. So we kind of pried open, put the bird down, and it flew off. And it's like, well, good catch, Sonny. We'll give you.
You know, it's funny because Nala's the one that stayed in the Daily News parking lot for at least a year and a half, and she don't really hunt bugs or anything around the house, not like the other one does.
She must think to herself, "This is great. The food's in the bowl there."
Well, you know, it's funny, yeah.
Well, remember, because some people did put food out for the cats.
I put the food there.
Yeah, but they also had to be on their own too.
Right, and I wondered if she was going to be able to want to stay inside, basically.
Yeah. And
she hasn't made a single effort to even get near.
So maybe again there too, it's like, you know, she was sitting in the dumpster with the newspapers or in the grass. Guess. Now she's got a bed. This is nice.
She makes no effort. The boys tend to get curious around the door. Nala doesn't even look at them.
I've done that. Think about it too. She was a year and a half out.
And she had 2 litters outside too.
That's like 10 years. Cat life.
She had 2 litters. She had 1 full litter outside, and then the one I ended up with when I brought her in, and then had kittens, and like, oh my goodness. So,
is she the mother of any
of Roscoe? Yes.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, that's how I ended up with that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So
you don't see any of that maternal sibling.
I did at first. He was really. He's kind of a mom. You can tell he's different than the other 2 that grew up outside. Put it that way.
But you don't see.
Put it this way. A better way to say it is, if Roscoe, if these were people, Roscoe would be the little chubby boy that plays violin.
Might be a future publisher of a newspaper.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not saying he's any less of a good cat because he's fantastic. He's sweet as he can be.
Yeah. But
he's kind of pudgy. And he's kind of soft, and he likes attention.
They share a box?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
They had 2 at my place.
Yeah.
Now that's what we were shopping for yesterday. One big enough to sustain the group.
You need to either build it or buy one of those cat trees that have the
you need
fuzzy.
To build one. They're expensive.
They're expensive. They should be. I think we were very limited in banging nails, but I think you get a pole, you get some plywood, and then some
What do you think the markup on that is?
300%.
At least, right?
Yeah, because you get carpet remnants.
Right.
We had one for our cats, or for Naomi when we lived in D.C. She loved it. And we put it right up against the window. So she got to climb on that and then sit on the top. It's a pole. It's an 8-foot pole or 6-foot pole with extending pieces of plywood attached. I mean, the wood probably costs $5, if that. And you go to a carpet store and say, hey, do you got any remnant? They might even just give you the remnant.
Well, I watched a guy make one online and for his cats, and he used driftwood.
No, that's neat.
Because he wanted to make it look nice.
That would be cool. Just make sure the bugs are out.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
No, he dried it.
Yeah.
And then he stained it the whole 9 yards.
That
and
would
then
be cool.
He bolted it to the ceiling and the floor.
Yeah.
So it was secure.
You know what? What to do is what's it? Cedar trees. If hopefully you don't have a bad storm, but just keep your eye peeled for someone doing landscaping work and putting their cuttings at the curb. Remember during during Florence, all the wood, but you get some really neat red cedar. Mm-hmm. And I'll keep an eye out for you. Because I got some on my.
I wouldn't know the first thing about trying to build something like that. Although I did take.
It can't be that hard.
Whatever class that was.
You know, and the more rustic it is.
You know, my mom still has the duck shape with the clothespin that you put a note in that I made in whatever class that was.
3rd grade.
Yeah, wood, whatever. Well, it was more than that because we had to use a lathe.
And you made the what you call it when you were like in 2nd grade out of the court. What was that paper? Construction paper for Thanksgiving. The turkeys.
Yeah,
using your hands. Wasn't that how we did that?
This is either junior high or high school because we had to use a saw, a real saw to cut it because you had to cut around the little shape and stuff. Shop, I guess is what it was. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, she still got that thing.
Keep that.
I saw that last time I was on.
I made a table. Do I have the table? I think my mother has a table. I made a beautiful table in high school.
Really?
In wood shop. And then I made a screwdriver and machine shop. I mean, it looks like a shank out of a prison. It was horrible. It was like bent piece of metal and some plastic on there. But it's like, I got like a C- on my project. But it would have looked good, like. In Scared Straight.
Yeah, I took
Albany State Prison.
I took a pottery type art class, and my stuff was horrible.
Yeah, my stuff was horrible too. I did that. I did pottery.
I have no artistic gene.
I made like a turtle, and I just like a clump of clay, and I molded like that. I made a neck on it and a little tail, and I fired it. Right, you put it in the fire.
Yeah,
and that was my. Yeah. And then ashtrays were always popular.
Yeah,
to make an ashtray.
That's what mine ended up being was ashtray.
I think
it started out as a pen cup.
Yeah,
and then it became an ashtray.
I made an ashtray. Yeah, I was not that scene in. Was it Ghost?
Yeah. No, it wasn't nothing like that.
It wasn't. We had the wheels and the wet stuff.
You have to throw it,
but it was like wobbling, and it would just like fall off. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not. But the wood shop. And actually, the teacher helped me a lot on that. But I remember the screwdriver. Had an electric shop too. We made like transistors. I don't know what that purpose was all about.
That's probably the way you should have went though. With,
because you get
now you use the chips and stuff. You would be in like Flint.
We did printing. We should get out of here, but we did printing. We had print shop in 7th grade, and so you're making a wood block with like your initials MM. But we each had a California job case. You know what that is?
No.
Oh my God, California job case. Look it up. It was all of the characters that you used to set type with, including periods, excellent, comma. It was in a box. I mean, a flat box with little compartments, and you have all your A's, your B's, your C. It's like, what is this all? But that's how they would set type then. This is back in the day.
Oh,
and I remember Scott Deal.
Scott Deal. Yeah.
This kid in the class, he was the fat kid in the class that everybody picked on. He spilled his California job case all over the floor. Imagine that. You're not just talking 26 characters, letters. You're talking about numbers, symbols, punctuation. Oh my God! And that's how they would set newspapers back.
Yeah.
Typesetters.
Or early on, printing presses were like that. The ones that did the one
the
sheet.
hot lead.
Yeah.
The hot lead guys every night. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
They made books like that.
And then they graduated to the guys that type backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that called? Was that linograph?
It was linograph.
Yeah.
Linograph was what came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
So that revolutionized. Got rid of all that stuff. But that was
type backwards. I mean, come on, man. Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. Anyway, we'll get out of here.
Get somebody that speaks Hebrew. They could. Isn't that backwards? It goes that
way. They make keyboards that you put over top of your keyboard like if you want to use,
well, think about that.
Like an Arabic keyboard,
I know.
it's different.
If you had a Chinese, I mean,
so they'll make a little thing that you can stick on top of that has American stuff, so you can type into their stuff. Yeah.
Wow. You ever think of that?
Yeah.
We're so self-centered.
Yeah.
As we should be.
We absolutely are.
We should be. It all starts here. USA. I'm sorry. What am I doing? What the hell am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing.
Y'all have a good day. I don't know what that is.
Trying to keep my street cred up. Swansboro.
God.